Okay, so here we go. Last thing. So we have four terms here. There's not an easy way to factor this, so we should always check for grouping. Now, if it does not group, that means that we'll have to learn other ways to factor this, but we're not doing that now. So we're just going to go ahead and go through the grouping and figure it out. Now, what does grouping mean? It means I'm going to group the first two together. And I'm going to group the last two together. So the 25x minus 30. Now, I have to be really careful. If this is a positive, it's really easy to group them just like this. If this value here were a negative, then I'd have to take out a negative and put my negative here. And then these two terms, whatever they were, have to change signs. So I'd have to be really careful. So as an example, and this isn't going to work, so I want to make sure that I'm good. So minus 18, actually this might work, but minus 25x plus 30. If this is what I had, I would group these two together, still, just like I did before. Take out the negative. Then I take out the negative out of here, so I get 25x. I would change this to a negative 30. And then I would go ahead and start grouping them from that point. But notice that this one's a negative, and notice that this sign happened to change as well. So you have to be really careful. Remember that when you multiply this negative back through, you have to get the original equation. So whatever that original equation was, you're going to have to get that value back. So I just wanted to show you as an example what to do if you have a negative there. So now what's common to 15 and 18? Well, we know that 3 goes into both of those. Hate it when the pen stops. This time it's stopping a little bit longer. Okay, there we go. So I know that, I think it's because I'm doing it on that page. I'm going to try this. Hold on. Sometimes I think it gets confused with doing it in different pages. Yeah. So 15 and 18, take out a 3. Okay, hold on. 3. Okay, take out a 3. So I know I can take out a 3. I can also take out an x squared because I have x cubed and x squared. So I can take out an x squared. So I can take out 3x squared. So I'm left with 5x minus 6. And then I have plus, and what's common to these two numbers, of course, 5. And I have 5x minus 6. Now this is important. These two terms must match up for this to work. If they don't match up, you can't go any further. Now, looking at this term and this term here, I have this common term for both of them. So I can factor out at 5x minus 6. And I'm left with 3x squared plus 5. Now, if this were a 1 right here, for example, if this happened to be a 1, then, or there was nothing there, then remember you have to make sure you put that 1 in there. So be really careful when you're taking these out, but this is it. This is factored. And you might always want to check to see if this one can factor any further. If it can't, then you don't necessarily have to worry about it. So that's it. Those are all the problems that you're going to see, or types of different things that you're going to see on there. I do want to point out that you might see some other factoring. Sorry, pen's been having problems on this lately. So if I have, x squared minus 9, you'll know to factor that down to x minus 3, x plus 3. If I have x squared plus 6x plus 9, that's going to factor to x plus 3 times x plus 3, which is going to be x plus 3 quantity squared. How do I know that? Because I look at these two and they're squares, and if I take the square root of this, which is 3, and add them up, I'm going to get 6. I know that this is going to come out this way. It would also work if this was a minus. If that were a minus, then these would just change to a minus, and that would change to a minus. But those are some common ones that we've talked about. We've also talked about x cubed minus 8, which is x squared minus, which is x minus 2 times x squared plus 2x plus 4. Remember that this first term here is just x squared. This last term here is just negative 2 squared. And the middle term is always the opposite of this sign. It's going to be 2 times x, so whatever those two values are. So there's a lot of different things that you can think about when you're looking at these. These we've gone over, and you should see them in your notes still.